This lady makes her living tossing bad guys around on the USA Network signature show, La Femme Nikita. Take a look at this. Watch.
You know what? Maybe I will take you up on that ride.
Car's right here.
Great.
Please welcome Peta Wilson.
Great. How are you?
Nice to see you. Okay, first of all, that couldn't be your real name, Peta.
No, that is my real name, yes.
Yes, really?
Really? It's kind of a long story, but my father was in the army and he was out on a maneuver in the country, and my mother had me, and by the time my father got the message, he thought that I was a boy. So my father named me Pedro, after the fisherman. And when he got back into town, he was, at his own dismay, I was actually a girl, and my mother had other ideas for a name for me. My father didn't like any of them, so I became Peta, you know, and that was the happy medium.
It's almost...
Yes, it's a bit strange, but, you know, I met Jack Nicholson many years ago here, actually, and reminded me about my name. And
here in Los Angeles?
Here in Los Angeles, I was somewhere, there was a whole lot of people, and he said, "What's your name?" You know, and I said, "My name's Peta Wilson." And he said, "Are you an actress?" I said, "No, I'm actually just a student of acting at the moment. We'll see about that." And he said, "Well, with a name like Peta Wilson, I really don't think that's any kind of career name." And I said, "Well, my mother worked 18 hours to get me out. That's a fine name." And he said, "What's your boyfriend's name?" And I said, "Harris." He said, "No, it's a much more film name." Little did he know my boyfriend's father's Richard Harris, and he's very much from the film.
Oh, really?
And I'm sitting there, and he said, "You should change your name to Peta Harris." And I thought, what, so I can play handbags to you? You know, so anyway.
Peta Harris?
Peta Harris. So Peta Wilson or Peta Harris. I think Peta Wilson.
I like Peta Wilson.
You know,
I like Peta Wilson.
It's solid. Solid clear.
I mean, what does he know, right?
Yeah, what does he know?
What does he know?
What is your accent?
I'm Australian.
Australian.
What part of Australia?
I'm an army brat. I was born in Sydney, and then when I was 1 year old, we moved to Papua New Guinea, which is a place where the big tidal waves were.
Right.
Right.
And I lived in the highlands of New Guinea for the first 11 years of my life. I lived in a wonderful native community. Me and my brother were the only white kids. We were completely loved and never made feel different, only special.
Yeah.
And it was incredible thing for me as a grown woman to have that kind of grounding.
It's hard to imagine you growing up in a place like New Guinea, because there's no television or radio or anything.
No TV, no radio. So
Can you imagine how...
That would be...
I mean, that's how it used to be.
Yeah, but it was imagination. I mean, Australia didn't get TV to the late 60s, you know.
Really?
So, I mean, for me, it was imagination, and we were out. Sunrise, we're up and out. Sundown, we'd hear a whistle, and we're home again.
They didn't have a lot of shows in
Well, no, when I
Australia.
came to Australia, I went to visit my grandparents on holidays. I became obsessed with I Dream a Genie. I just sit in front of the television going, this person, I want to be a genie. That's what I want to be.
Everybody wanted to
I
be
had a crush on Barbara Eden. I had a crush on Barbara Eden. I loved watching that show.
She's something else.
I always loved that.
I was fantastic.
So you watched
I
Barbara
didn't really know that.
Oh, you do that very well.
Oh, well, you know, I think they're doing the movie.
Well, you know, we heard this about you.
Well,
We heard that you loved I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah, and you know, my grandmother made me a little pink harem pantsuit, you know, and I went back
She
to...
did?
She did, hot pink pants, satin pants. I loved it. I didn't go anywhere without it.
Can you imagine Peta in New Guinea with hot pink pants? No wonder the natives loved you.
And I came back and the native people gave a lot to us.
Do we have hot pink paper on this?
We have hot pink paper.
We have a present for you.
Actually.
No.
Yes, go ahead and open it up. No, it's not hot pink pants.
Wow!
Show the camera. We got a picture in there, too.
What we did is we know Barbara Eden.
Oh, my God!
And so we got her to sign the box.
You know what?
That's Barbara.
I got to tell you something.
And then a picture for you. Thank you.
Actually, you know what? Barbara Barbara wanted to come over here. She's in the middle of a shoot right now, but she told us to tell you hi.
Wow.
She's the
that over.
sweetest
That's
lady. She's
incredible.
absolutely a doll. We need to get her on the show.
Yeah.
And I used to come up to New Guinea and I'd reenact Arjun Majini episodes for the natives. And I was like, close your eyes and make my brother disappear. You know, and this was like...
I wish I could do that. I tried really hard, but gosh, she's still there.
I'm still here. Anyway, we got to go to commercial. We'll be back with more with Peter Wilson right after this.
Maybe
So
if
good.
you're